Well, we are winding down day 3 of MSI here in Hanoi, with coverage brought to you by Alienware. I'm joined right now by Steve to talk a little bit about how things are shaping up with Team Liquid, who unfortunately have lost their last 4 games. So, Steve, maybe you can give us some insight into what's been going on with Team Liquid, because I know a lot of fans right now are curious as to what's happening with the team.
I think we're obviously disappointed in the losses. It was a really great start, but we played two of the easier teams in the first week or the first day. So, I think the team is kind of focusing in on what our strengths and weaknesses are, and we need to figure that out. And I think the meta is forcing us to play certain kind of team comps that we didn't play during the regular season. And, playing that is new. And when something's new and you're trying to figure it out, there's sometimes disagreements in how to play that particular play style. And so I think that that's leading to not everybody being on the same page in game, right? Because if you've made a play and you've done it, 100 times, everybody kind of knows what to do. But when you're in a situation where you're like, oh wait, what do we do? We've only done this like 3 or 4 times. Like, how do we react in this situation? It creates disagreement, and then people aren't on the same page, and then the plan isn't executed as cleanly. So I think we just need to focus in on our strengths and go with that rather than trying to like change something in a day.
Well, given how things have gone the last 2 days and the fact that we're most of the way done with group stage, a lot of fans will probably be worried about the mental state of the team and sort of how all the players are processing this, especially those with a lot of international stage experience. What can you speak to in terms of the mentality of the players right now?
I think that there's a lot of passion for the games. You can tell that, yeah, they're upset about the loss, right? And they want to be able to talk about that. But what's different about this team in comparison to any other team that I've seen in post game is that they talk about it, but then they move on. There's not this kind of like lingering like animosity or negative energy. Like they get it out, they talk about what they need to, and then they just move on to the next day or move on to watching the game together as a team or whatever the next thing is. And I think that's good, right? Like you don't want to ignore it. You don't want to just like pretend it didn't happen. You need to address it and figure it out and correct your issues. So I think these guys are experienced. They're dealing with it, but it's obviously not optimal to lose.
Even setting aside the interpersonal relationships of the players, is there any concern for players like Jensen, Double F, to others that might be having kind of the mental boom that Reddit would suppose they might be having at this point in time?
No, I mean I don't. I'm here. I'm with the guys. I don't see any mental boom. There's no craziness like that. I think it's just more figuring out the meta, the play style, the champions, the band pick, and if you get it wrong, then it puts you at a disadvantage. And in that Flash Wolves game, there's a certain way to play that game, and we didn't really execute right. We had 2 winning lanes, and we're still not kind of closing out the right way. So it's more about identifying the problems and fixing them.
As someone, you're kind of on the sidelines, and I'm sure talking to the coaches. What do you think are Team Liquid's chances in the next 4 games coming up?
I think at this point we have to be really realistic about what our chances or how do we get into the knockout stage in Taipei. And top 4 of 6. So just get to the top 4, and it could be anybody's game once you get into that, right? Like we just saw Fangvu Buffalo beat G2 in convincing fashion, right? Like you can win a game, right? And be the underdog. So we've got to qualify. So now we've just got to be top 4. That's the goal. That's what we're going to focus on. And that means that we need to win a certain amount of games in comparison of the other teams that would be below us, right? So that is the focus. It's strategic. It's kind of direct. Oh yeah, we're gonna finish first in the group. Like, okay, no, let's just finish top 4. That's the goal.
For the LCS fans or Team Liquid fans right now that are concerned or watching, is there anything that you would like to say to them?
I'd like to say that stay confident in the team. the guys are practicing and the coaching staff are on top of this. We're giving it our all, and we're fighting for NA. So appreciate your support, and let's go Liquid.
Thank you so much for the interview, Steve. Looking forward to hopefully seeing a bit of a comeback over the next couple of days.
Yes, I hope so.
Yep. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel.
Thanks so much for watching that interview. Really want to thank you for doing that, and thank you to Alienware for sponsoring this trip. If you've been paying attention to the interviews, we've been traveling along Halong Bay. This is but one of many caves that we have entered on our journeys to try to find the secret to North America international success. It's not here, unfortunately, but hopefully we'll find it soon. Thanks so much.